The meeting is now in order. We are here regarding a protest filed by Judge Jefferson Griffin in Montgomery County, who is contesting the votes of 60,000 of his fellow North Carolinians. Although he has filed over 300 protests in total, only one protest involves a ballot cast in Montgomery County. So we are here tonight to have an evidentiary protest hearing to address that.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. I turn this over to.
What's that?
Who do I turn this over to?
Yourself, I guess. Well, I guess somebody needs to find out if they're anyone's here. Protester.
Anybody here from Mr. Griffin? If that's the meeting, then we'll.
It doesn't look like anybody's here from contested.
Anybody online?
It looks like there is no one here on the Griffin side of the protest. So we will address our side, our one lonely voter.
And she's not here either, I'm assuming.
No.
So I guess y'all need to decide whether or not you're going to take. It's the protesters' burden of proof.
Right.
I don't know whether, did you ever get an original of the affidavit of the data analyst? Did you ever get an original documentation of any of this, or was it all just emailed?
It's all
emailed.
Sure. It's probably what you were saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never got a wedding signature notarized?
No, sir.
affidavit?
They were notified of this meeting. They called us numerous times before we even knew about the protest.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a terrible idea, given that I've heard of the forecast of what the documentation tends to show. And I think that just as given the facts that are in the record that you're going to hear and the how the law applies to that this voter challenge, this protest should be dismissed. And since I don't see why you couldn't proceed on, first of all, that you could just take us, you can just assume it's true what has been presented. I mean, if you want to, it's your discretion to accept their affidavit.
I would like to prove that the voter did in fact recognize the mistake herself. She voted before it was really illegal for her to vote.
Right.
I think we need to enter all that into record and send it to Judge Griffin.
But I think, it may be, I think you could maybe, if you wanted to base your, by gosh, they didn't give us, I don't have a wedding notarized affidavit. It's not an affidavit. That's just it's not even a greeting card. It's nothing official. It's an email. We had to print out. So they didn't prove anything. They haven't even gotten us to the point we need to decide. But why take that fight?
Right, and I want us coming back next week with the evidence, and then we have to meet again.
Yes.
So, I don't see, I think it might be a good idea for the board to accept their affidavits as putting the ball into the court of the county board to have a hearing.
So what we just need to do right now is, this is the evidentiary hearing.
Right.
We just got to look at the evidence to see if we feel this needs to go on to a full-on hearing.
I think you've already had the probable cause hearing decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut, because y'all already gone beyond that. So I guess the preliminary hearing was that you, found that the application, the protest application was in good order, and it was enough to get us here. Okay.
I'd just like for us to have a statement of facts showing that the reasons that they have quoted and given are not true. This is what actually happened. This is,
Well, I think that's what you're
I
going
think
to
that's what we're gonna get to.
Yeah. You ought to, there's nobody here to present evidence, is there? From any party, anybody else? So I think your staff has control of documents and records and can give you a narrative, can testify as to what happened. So I think you need to swear Ms. Walters, or who's going to testify, and have her tell you what happened with the voter Callaway. I'm sure Debbie knows how to give an oath.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, and nothing but the truth? Help God.
Okay,
So, the voter in question is Carmen Denise Callaway.
yes, sir.
Explain to the board exactly what happened with this voter, as to why they're contesting. Judge Griffin is contesting.
Okay, the Miss Callaway has been, I want to first start off with, we had sent her a letter last week. I called her and left a message, and then I've emailed her. So I wanted to make that clear that we tried to let her know so she could be present. The first thing I want to discuss is her registration, which she filled out, is dated July the 16th of 2024. And the State Board of Elections stamped it twice, that it was received August the 2nd. And then there's another date stamp of August the 9th. I'm not aware of why there are two, but there are. We received this through through courier from the state on September, I believe that's the 18th. It's very hard to see our stamp. Then we would have processed it. It's clear on her registration that she lives at 430 Atkins Dairy Road. She wrote this, she signed it. We entered it into our system as 430 Dairy Road, which are two totally different addresses. You can see on your forms that you have here, this is her voter profile form. The top one is the incorrect address that was entered in at 430 Dairy Road. So when she went to vote, at that time, we have a process where we do voter card verification. When you register to vote, and this is this documentation you have here, it explains the steps in a verification card. The voter's card is sent out to them. If they receive it, we don't get it back. We know that voter's address is correct. They have received their card. If it's returned to us, we send out a second card. If that doesn't come back, we assume the voter's good. Maybe they were gone on vacation, just missed it somehow or whatever. If it comes back to us, then you'll see in the wait a minute, in the bottom right, it's recorded as denied. Okay. And of course, with Ms. Callaway's situation, we did not have her correct address to be sending these verification cards to. So she had entered into denied status on October the 28th. Okay, because of the cards, because of clerical error here at the office. Okay,
Question.
yes, sir.
So she was denied, her registration as it was keyed into the system was denied on October 28th.
Through all the verification steps.
Right, through the
Yes, sir.
verification process.
Yes,
She had already.
right. I'm gonna get to that point.
It might helpful, it just, when you sent the first letter, when it came back.
So, so the first letter was sent in September or?
September 23rd. September 27th is listed as verification pending. October
what?
27th.
Okay.
October 4th, we sent the second confirmation or verification card, forgive me,
And that was October what?
4th. And then October the 11th, it was still under pending status. And then when it was returned, October the 28th was when it was denied.
So on the 28th is when it was returned, the card was returned to the office.
And this is all internal.
Right.
The clock on our system is internal. It's not, all we do is scan the card and it automatically makes these changes into the voter record. We do not type in denied.
Right.
We do not type in pending. Our system does that automatically. The state system.
Okay.
Okay?
It wasn't returned any of the other dates that we've seen.
Yes. Which
So
would cause it to
returned-
kick another one out
It was returned on the 20, the one you sent out on the 23rd was returned.
on the 20, yes.
The one
And
you
then-
sent out on the 27th was returned.
No, the one,
That's the
the,
pending, it was pending.
right. And then the one I sent out on the 4th
October
was
4th.
returned.
Right,
Yes,
I wrote pending, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
But they were returned.
So according to general statute,
When does she vote?
she voted on the 24th.
One stop.
Yes, sir. And I have her authorization to vote form here, and she actually realized that her address was incorrect when she went and voted. And she went through the change of address process with our precinct official, who changed it to the correct address, which was 430 Atkins Dairy Road, and I have the signature here. If anyone wants to see that.
So did she, what one stop did she vote at
She voted at Bisco.
in Biscayne?
Okay?
And on the 24th is when she corrected,
Yes,
got it all correct.
yes, sir. And again, that denied status within the system showed up on the 28th. Okay?
Okay.
Currently, this young lady has two active records with our county. One with the incorrect address, but has a voter history. One with the correct address with no voter history. And the solution to, this situation is for me to merge these two records so that she will have the correct address with the correct history all in one. And this will be, taken care of
So
completely.
she never tried to vote on both registrations.
No, the second registration was created when they made the correction of her address. And it, after elections, when I upload all that data from each laptop as we did, Teddy, then, when we put it into the system, it does the voter history. That takes place. So that's how the two records are there. And this is not an unusual occurrence as far as merging records. It's something that we have to do when this occurs. And, I would like the board's permission to be able to do that, to correct that situation for her.
We need a motion to do that.
Make a motion to amend the. I'll second.
Thank you. And the general statute says it is 163-82.7. 3, under the section G, it's 3. If a notice sent pursuant to subsection C or E of this section is returned by the postal service as undeliverable after a person has already voted in an election, then the county board shall treat the person as a registered voter. And she definitely voted before that status was put on her record.
Side note question, when these registrations come in and whoever in the office sits down to key them in, is there a log, as to which person, do you have a login that says, I did this? Or this person did that? Can you is that something that is there?
It is there. What we do is we scan the registrations into batches.
Mhm.
And then normally someone's doing the scanning and then someone's doing the data entry from the batch. You actually take ownership of that batch and you key in that information from each individual registration. Then you have someone go behind you because it's a checks and balances system that works very well when it's done correctly. And they take care of your mistakes if there are
If they
any.
catch, yeah,
They catch them. Evidently, in this particular situation, it was not caught. But the voter did their due diligence in recognizing it when they went to vote. And our precinct official was able to take care of that for them.
well, I can see what happened when they went in, when this lady went in there to vote. She walked in there and she gave them her address and her name, and they're like, well, you're not in the system. And then they found it and they're like, this is you. And she's like, that's not where I live. And
They said, well, we can change
yeah,
that.
and they fixed it. So, it's not her fault. It's not, you know,
Mm-mm.
She did everything
she
right.
did everything right. So I don't see where she should not be, her vote shouldn't be counted. It should be counted.
Mhm.
Is that the close of the evidence, pretty much? Is there any, what are the documents you're wanting to submit to make part of the record? I guess that
Her
mail
registration,
verification, decision tree, sort of
you
thing.
can do that, yes. I can give you one that's not written on.
You've got
Registration and her authorization to vote form where the change was made when she went to vote.
so that was her registration application form?
Yes, the first one was.
And then the authorization to vote form?
Mhm. And the authorization to vote form has the confirmation of the date and time at the bottom.
Is there any,
Been the incorrect one as well as the corrected. Or just the corrected.
Corrected, it's all on one, Ms. Tasha. In the change section of an authorization to vote form, it'll have the old address and the new address.
Okay.
And she'll sign that section confirming the
Okay.
change.
Because we gave us, is that right? Yes. I have two sheets with the exact same thing. With the exact same thing, that's why I asked. Yeah.
This,
But I don't have corrected information.
No?
Mm-mm.
Evidentiary road.
Accurate. That's all she gives you, Acrio.
No, it's 4:30.
4:30, okay.
4:30.
Yeah, 4301. I put it down. So I'm going based upon what I heard.
Right.
so the voter profile forms are also something that you talked about?
yes, because that was to assist me in explaining corrections.
And as far as the, is there any documentation of the dates when is there a form?
No,
Is there a form?
we're not able to print from the seams. It won't screen print or
But you
anything.
have
I do.
handwritten notes on one of these decision trees that
Just
has.
so I could help, guide y'all. Yeah, we can't print anything from the state, so.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a good thing to make that part of the record also.
Okay.
Sticking with these, okay.
So all of this stuff that we're gathering together, does this go to the state board or does it go to the person, the law firm that's representing Mr. Griffin?
Depends on if they appeal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hearing that what I'm hearing is that the board is prepared to find facts along the lines as Ms. Walters described them, as far as the dates. And the conclusion of law that naturally flows from that is that ballot counts.
Yes.
And that you would make that decision and sign an order. You as the chair would sign an order. And that would be then served on the protester, on the challenged candidate. And I guess it would be up to the protester to decide whether or not to have this record sent up to the state board for them to
review it.
I've pretty much drafted an order that, but as far as the votes would be, the findings of fact are that she, registered to vote, So what I'm hearing is that she registered to vote in July. She was sent a letter to an improper address in September. That came back undeliverable. A second notice was sent according to the statute on October 4th. She voted on October 24th and corrected her address. And then on the 28th, it came back undeliverable and the system marked her as registration denied. And those are the facts. The conclusions of law would be that that the statute 163-87, was it 82.7 G3?
Yes.
Shows that is that the voter should be considered registered by this board, and it's a properly counted ballot, and that would be the conclusion of law, that it was a valid vote, and she was registered at the time she voted, considered registered, and that the protest should be dismissed would be the order.
Yep.
And I guess probably need to somebody make a motion and vote.
I'll make a motion that we vote. Is that what you mean?
You need a,
To dismiss the protest.
I dismiss the protest.
I'll second.
And to count the ballot, yeah.
Favor?
aye.
Opposed?
Madam Chair, I'll draft an order and get it to you get it to Ms. Walters maybe, and get it to you next 48 hours.
We have another meeting next week, so.
Oh, you'll certainly have it. But the sooner the better.
Okay, so that is the only thing we had on our agenda today. If we are finished, anybody have anything else? Loose ends concerning this hearing, or we need to adjourn? I have a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Adjourned.
5:52 PM.
Hopefully everybody else's protest was clear cut.